What is a trade line? A trade line is an authorized user account being sold either by a company or a trade line broker. An authorized user account is an account that's associated with a credit card that has great payment history, low credit utilization, and a large credit limit and good age. Now, the price of that trade line can vary based upon various factors. If it is a premium credit card like an American Express, Citibank, PNC, Bank of America, it's going to be more expensive. If it has a larger credit limit like a 10,000, 20,000, or even 100,000, it's going to be more expensive. And lastly, if it has a lot of history. The older the account and the greater the payment history, the more expensive this trade line will be. Now, do I recommend you buy a trade line? Let me tell you what you are getting when you get a trade line. Typically, somebody who is trying to get their credit score above 700 so they can get either a low interest rate on a car loan, low interest rate on a credit card or personal loan, will get in the market for a trade line. And they'll go to a trade line broker or to a website and look for a trade line that they can afford, that they hope will boost their credit score, because either they've just had their credit repaired or they don't have much established credit. Now, let me help you understand. There are several different things when you look at your credit score. You may have a 740 credit score because you bought 2 to 3 trade lines. Now, trade lines no longer have the impact that they used to. And let me explain you why. Depending on the FICO model used, meaning if you go to apply for a car loan, they're going to use FICO model 8 that's specifically created for auto lenders, and where they're going to value primary accounts greater than authorized user accounts, which are trade lines. They're going to look how many of them primary accounts and where you are responsible for paying the monthly payment. How many do you have? What is the structure? Meaning, do you have an installment like a car loan, home loan, or secured loan, or a personal loan? Do you have revolving accounts, which are credit cards? How many of these do you have, and what are the credit limits, and what is the age on those? That is how they're going to evaluate, are you going to be approved, and if so, what your interest rate will be. Trade lines are always factored out for any collateralized loan, meaning when you go to apply for a car or a home, you can have an 800 credit score because you have 4 good trade lines with high credit limit, low utilization, and they're about 10 to 15 years old, which is right at the sweet spot. When you put your application in, your loan officer, they might be impressed too. They're like, man, this person has an 800 credit score. When it goes to underwriting, your credit score is going to change. They're not going to see anything but the credit that you opened in your name that you're responsible for. So say you have a Capital One. That's really your Capital One. It has $1,000 credit limit. It's about 8 months old. But you've added trade lines with American Express, a $25,000 American Express, $100,000 Citibank, and a $50,000 Discover. Your credit on Credit Karma, on TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax shows that you have an 800. When you go to Bank of America to apply for a car loan, you're going to be denied because it's going to reflect that one Capital One that's about 6 to 8 months old with $1,000 credit limit, and they're going to see your true credit score, which is a 600. Why do I say true credit score? Your true credit score is determined by the accounts that you personally are responsible for. Your enhanced credit score is the score that you can achieve by purchasing a trade line or by adding yourself as an authorized user to a friend or family member's credit card. So you can spend $1,500, I've heard people spend $3,000 to $4,000 to get a great credit score, only to be denied when they go for a car loan, home loan, or a high premium credit card. Why? Because the credit score that you see is not going to be the credit score the lender sees. Your authorized user accounts, which are trade lines, are going to be factored out. That is the truth of the matter. Now, do they help? In some cases, they could. Now, here's one scenario where a trade line could possibly help you. If you have a family member that has a Navy Federal credit card, they put you on as an authorized user, you open a Navy Federal account, and after you open your account, you apply for a Navy Federal credit card, you have a greater chance of getting a credit card with Navy Fed because it's a consumer-oriented bank and they value customers who use and have credit with Navy Fed, even if it's not yours. So your family member could actually help you. Now, that same scenario, you open a Navy Fed account, you have your checking account, and you add an American Express trade line, that is not going to help you with Navy Fed because Navy Fed doesn't value American Express as much unless that American Express is yours. If it's an authorized user, you're not going to get any benefit. You would get benefit if your family member is also a member of Navy Fed and they place you as an authorized user on Navy Fed. So there are limited cases. My recommendation, personally, there are too many new systems out and where buying a trade line is not going to be any more beneficial unless you want to stroke your ego and see a high credit score when you go into your credit monitoring service. Now, if you just want to have an 800 credit score, just to have it, then that is fine. Now, if you want to get something that can help you, I'll tell you several things. First thing you need to do is develop a relationship with your bank, meaning your bank needs to know you by first name basis. Choose one location, go in, speak to them, keep your checking account history good, and then tell them what you want to do as far as credit is concerned. Tell them if you want a credit card, hey, can you look at my banking history and see if I'm eligible without doing a hard pull? Believe it or not, you can invest more into your relationship with your bank and get more value than going out and spending $1,500 in trade lines. Now, if you do want to get a trade line, this is what I recommend. Call a family member or friend, ask them to place you as an authorized user, explain to them you don't want a credit card, you're just looking to improve your credit situation. Once that is done, if they place you on as an authorized user with their bank credit card, meaning if it's a local bank that they place you on, I would recommend you open an account with that bank that they place you as an authorized user and apply with that bank. In limited circumstances, that can help. Now, as a whole, going out and buying trade lines is not beneficial. because all the new credit models factor out authorized user accounts. Lenders and underwriters want to see primary accounts, accounts that you're responsible for paying, how you have paid those accounts over time. You can buy as many trade lines as you want. And I've seen people buy trade lines, get an 800 credit score, and get declined, but somebody else with a 630 credit score get approved. Why? Because the person with a 630 had great payment history. It was their utilization that impacted them, meaning lowering their credit score, but they had installment accounts and revolving accounts. Now, when they got approved, they didn't get the maximum amount, but the person with the 800 credit score got declined outright. Because once you subtract the trade lines, if you don't have any positive credit history reporting that you are responsible for, you are not going to be approved for many of the things that trade line brokers tell you you can get. But if you have any specific questions or specific scenario, please let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely respond, give you a thorough response. You can look at my comments and you can look at the responses I give. They're about a page, so I'll answer your question. The next video I'm going to have, make sure you watch, especially if you're an entrepreneur. What about $50,000 on a newly formed LLC? Raul, I've heard all about this. What is this? Tune in, I'll let you know.